Hey guys, today on my podcast, I've got David Mead, current Castleton Dragons winger and former Gold Coast Titans and Brisbane Broncos winger. He's in France and I'm in Australia. We had to do this later at night, but it was still worth it. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Okay, so when I was growing up, I lived in a village called Tubusaria.
Yeah.
This was in Papua New Guinea. And when the village that I grew up in, everyone wanted to play rugby league and everyone watched NRL. So, all my mates were playing rugby league and that's all I wanted to do, since I was young. So, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. How would your oldest friend describe you?
How would my oldest? I've never been asked that. It's a good question. It probably describe me as someone who's, probably cheeky because, my mates that I've been friends with for a long time, we always used to tease each other, have a lot of banter, and we played footy together too. So probably cheeky is probably the first word that comes to mind.
Yeah. How do you handle hard times?
How do I handle hard times? I try to put life into perspective. I know that whenever I'm having a hard time, there's always millions and millions of probably even billions of other people who have life that's much harder than mine. So when I think of that perspective, it sets me back up, and it makes me feel better, I guess, because I know that there's kids living in Africa or even in Australia and Papua New Guinea that don't have a home, and they have a lot more worse problems than me. So when I think of that, it certainly helps me.
Yeah, I get that. What are you most proud of?
Most proud of, I've got two young boys now.
Yeah.
One's a 4-year-old, and the second one, he's a 1-year-old, and I'm proud of especially the 4-year-old, and how he's developing as a young kid. I get proud of him whenever he uses new words or whenever he's progressing in something. So my two kids is probably who I'm proud of.
Yeah. Was it hard moving from Australia to France?
Yeah, it certainly was. When I first thought of moving to France, I was very excited. My wife was excited, and we thought it'd be a pretty easy transition coming over here. But there's a big barrier there, which is the language barrier.
Yeah.
We thought a lot more people over here would be speaking English, but when we arrived, that wasn't the case. So I guess the first 3 months, we, besides missing our families and friends back home, trying to adapt to the lifestyle over here with, especially with the language and trying to communicate with everyone, that was pretty difficult, especially for my wife because at least for me, I get to go to training and meet the boys and speak to some of the French boys and learn a bit of language off them. But it was a bit tougher for my wife because she's more so at home looking after the boys, and she's not out connecting with people as much as I am.
Yeah. Have you learnt language in French though?
Yeah, I've been speaking a little bit of French. We've been here 2 years now, so you'd hope that I pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
A couple of half of the team is French.
Yeah.
And most of the administration staff, they're all French. So I've learned a bit of French now, and I can go to the shops and get by. And I can express myself. What I want to say in French now, and it's just a bit hard when someone responds to you in French and can't understand everything.
Yeah. Is that the same with like the coach? Is he English or French?
Yeah, the coach is English.
Oh, that's good.
He still struggles to speak French, so it makes me feel better about my French.
Yeah. You've played for the Broncos and the Titans in Australia and the Dragons in France. What's the difference in play style and training compared to Australia and France?
Our coach, he's done a bit of work in the NRL. He was at the Roosters assisting there. He's been to the Warriors, so he's pretty clued on with what they're doing in the NRL, and I think he's tried to bring that over to the Super Leagues or the teams that he's coaching. So a lot of the training that I'm doing here is very similar to what I was doing in the NRL. So there's not too much difference. I guess the main big difference that I noticed coming over here was probably the calls and how you got to communicate on the field, because some of the players are French and you got to speak a little bit differently sometimes. But that's probably the biggest difference that I've noticed.
How do you do that though when they speak French? Do you speak in French, or do they go to English, or do you use hand signals?
Yeah, a bit of everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll try to communicate in English because it's easy for us to understand, and then we'll try and communicate in French because it's easier for them to understand. Sometimes when you speak your own language, it's a bit harder for the other person to understand. So once you're there, it's a bit of everything: body language, French, English. So it's quite fun. I mean, it's difficult at times, but it can be exciting as well.
Yeah. Do you guys on your edges have like an edge of ink, like because I know you got Jimmy Maloney over there now. Is he on your edge or is he on the other edge? So you could have like on.
Yeah, he's on the other edge. So I'm playing with Josh Drinkwater.
Oh yeah.
He's from Australia.
Fouadi
Yaha, he's French. He's a French winger.
Yeah.
He can speak a little bit of English, but he still struggles to understand everything. So we try to mix it up with me, him, and Drinky on that edge there.
Yeah. Are you enjoying playing for the Dragons while you've been over in France?
Yeah, I have, mate. It's different. It's not many people around here know rugby league. It's soccer and rugby union dominated. So our fans are like the Mad Dragons fans that have been around since however long ago rugby league came here.
Yeah.
And so they're very passionate people, and I really enjoy going out there and playing for them.
Yeah. Do you have to fight? How's the traveling though, going from like France to England as well?
Yeah, mate, they can be pretty long.
Yeah,
they can be pretty long. We usually when we have away games, we'll usually go for 2 nights. So we'll travel the day before the game, and then we'll stay there the night, play the game that afternoon or night, and then travel back home the next day. So they can be pretty long because we're 2 hours from Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then the flight's about 2.5 hours. So if you're doing that trip, sometimes your trips can take between 6 to 12 hours. So it can be pretty long, but our trainers manage it well, and we're professionals, so we try to prepare for it as best as we can.
Yeah. How are you keeping yourself busy and fit during this time?
Because we've got this lockdown. We can't leave the home, for much. So I've got to try and stay fit, by doing training in the backyard. I try to do, the drills that the trainers give us at training. Obviously, there's not much, sprinting with, 100 meters or anything like that. So, I do a lot of, Malcolms and, skipping and, running on the spot, stuff like that to try and keep myself fit.
I saw on your Instagram page yesterday with your workout and that.
Yeah, it's whenever I'm working out, the little fella likes to jump in and join in. So he's keeping me motivated, and that's all we got to do really.
Are the Dragons giving you programs to do?
Yeah, so we're on a WhatsApp group, and our trainer sends out a weekly program.
Yeah.
Of what he recommends, and sometimes you make adjustments on that on how your body's feeling, and if you've got any niggly injuries or anything like that, you can adjust that and speak to them, and they can send you some training guidelines.
Yeah. Another question. I don't know this. How long have you guys been training without the squad for?
Okay, so our lockdown. So we've been in lockdown for 4.5 weeks now.
Oh yeah.
So this Friday, it'll be 5 weeks on this Friday that I haven't seen my teammates.
Oh yeah.
So it's been a long time.
Yeah. Who's the worst teammate to room with through your career, and why?
This is an easy one. Do you remember Kevin Gordon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with him on the Gold Coast. He played on the other wing, and I used to room with him, and he loved to drink like heaps of protein and stuff like that. So he'd always be farting and stinking out the room. So he's definitely the worst roommate by far.
What's the best word that can describe you right now?
The best word that can describe me right now?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Well, the word I try to be every day. I don't know if it describes me from anyone else's perspective, but for me, it's probably calm.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay calm, or like stay relaxed. I guess relaxed is probably a better word.
Yeah. I can't go without asking you though. How'd you score that try against Cronulla? For the Titans?
Mate, honestly, 95% luck
Yeah.
and 5% getting there. And just when you look at the video, I was actually about 5 meters back when Princey kicked the ball, and I think if I don't catch the ball and the ball goes out, I'll probably get a spray from Princey. Because if I was up in line with him, I would have just caught it on the chest and put the ball down pretty easy. But I think luck had a majority to do with it.
What advice would you give a 12-year-old today?
Enjoy your life as much as you can. You're only 12 once. So if I was 12 again, this is probably one thing I would change about myself when I was 12. I'd probably eat a lot better.
Yeah.
Because going to training, and I used to eat like after school you'd catch the bus with your mates, go to the shops at Lismore Square, go and eat heaps of like chips and potato chips, with chicken salt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I'd turn up to training, and I wouldn't feel good. I'd spew up and stuff like that, and my training wouldn't be as good, and I wasn't having as much fun. So if I was a 12-year-old, I'd say eat your veggies, your salads, and listen to your coaches.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on today, David.
No worries, Max.
So that was David Mead from France. I hope you guys enjoyed. He's the current Castleton Dragons winger. I really hope you enjoyed the podcast. Don't forget to go to my website, mgtalksports.com, SS. Also, my Instagram is mgtalksports, SS. Also, my YouTube channel, mgtalksports, SS. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy.